we're going to be talking about Eads Bridge. And you might be thinking, why are we talking about bridges? So let me tell you this. So bridges are obstacles, right? They are hard things to build. It's something that gets you from where you are to where you're going. So, and a half-finished bridge doesn't get you across the river. So we're going to have 3 phases here. It's going to be dream, forge, and finish. And we're going to use the example of Eads Bridge to talk about it. And why you guys are going to find out I'm a huge history buff. So I use history to kind of help explain things in my mind in my other problems, right? So sometimes when I read history, I think about it as a way to solve a now issue or a way to explain something. So when I think of Eads Bridge, I think about us journeying into our 2025 year. We are wherever we were last year, right? And this year is going to be better. But what do we need to do? I'll tell you, dream, forge, finish. So the first part is we got to dream. We got to spend the time working on ourselves, right? Thinking about who it is we want to become, where it is that we want to go, and why are we going there, right? So in our example, this Eads Bridge, the leadership, right? So when America was made, a lot of the early leaders were politicians, right? So this is where you think of your George Washington, your Thomas Jefferson, your Alexander Hamilton, your Andrew Jackson, right? You think of your Abe Lincoln, right? Going through the Civil War. And another president you don't think about as much is James K. Polk. So he's one of my favorite, and you may not know him, but you might have heard this term, manifest destiny. So they had a dream that America was going to be sea to shining sea, right? So Thomas Jefferson bought the Louisiana Purchase, which was basically Mississippi up all the way over to Washington, right? So they purchased it. They sent out the Lewis and Clark exposition, but it was a dream that they would connect the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean with this American dream, right? Manifest destiny, which was this huge dream, this huge concept, this idea of getting there. The Mississippi at that time was a great connector north to south, south to north, right? It was vertical. There's tributaries and whatnot that bring it in, but it actually, by being so good at that channel, it was actually an obstacle for transit. So as trains developed into the 1800s, the river was over a mile long. So I don't know if you know about this, but it's over a mile long. It's fast currents, and there's a lot of boat traffic, right? Steam. So they had the large mass. So this bridge needed to be constructed over a mile long. That had to be so high so these boats could travel underneath it for a live load of a train. So there's shaking and dynamic loads, et cetera, to cross. And it had to do this with the currents in the river, with all this traffic, and it's never been done before. At this time, 1 in 4 bridges, according to 1874, 1 in 4 bridges would collapse, right? They didn't have all the stuff down. And the common building material for most bridges at this time was stone, wood, and iron. So this is what most bridges were made out of, and 1 out of 4 failed. So these are some of the things that really had to be thought about. So the dream, in this case, was actually made not by a politician, but by capitalism. It was the railroads. It was a Pennsylvania railroad. We're going to make a railroad going from east to west, and it's going to go through St. Louis, and it's going to be the Eads Bridge. So that is the dream. It wasn't by a politician, but it was actually a business person. So it was an entrepreneur that said that this is what we're going to do. So as I take this example of Eads Bridge and these politicians and manifest destiny, let's put those into terms that we understand, right? So what does this mean? It means we need a dream in our terms. What is your obstacle? You know, you could be getting into real estate investing and you don't think you have the money. Okay, you could be doing that. You could be thinking, you don't know what you don't know. I think of these quotes. Stephen Covey does a great job in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Highly Effective Habits, but it's begin with the end in mind, right? So when I say dream, it is, who do you want to be? What is it that you want? And then reverse engineer it, work it backwards. Walt Disney, one of my favorite quotes is, if you could dream it, you can do it. And my dad grew up telling me this one, and it was one of these ideas of dream. So I modify that to my quote, which is dream big and act accordingly, right? So have that dream, but then also take the steps that you need to take it. So in this first phase, we got to dream. What is it that you want? Because if you don't have that dream, it's not big enough for you to get up and walk. It's not big enough for you to wake up, be excited to take those challenges, right? So Pennsylvania Railroad here had that dream. We're going to actually do this. Let's go. You know, we're going to take that theoretical and the little ferry boats that were being used until after the Civil War. And we're going to make this into a connection where people can actually connect the East and West. So guys, if you haven't done this, look at that life roadmap. If you want to go to the website, kevindaragi.com, you could buy it and go through that with your friends. If you want to have a guide and do it, guys, I'm happy to help you. Do the steps that you guys need. Do the dreaming, and then let's make a path.